Let me show you how to build a machine learning model that predicts Titanic survival rates in under 2 minutes. The first step is to import our libraries. We'll be using pandas to handle datasets and matplotlib to make graphs. We're using several submodules from scikit-learn to import tools like train test split, random forest classifier, and ROC, AUC, and accuracy score. These will help us train our model and see how well it did. Next, we're importing the data from a Kaggle dataset, then telling the model to read it and save it to a variable called df. Now we're going to clean up our data set a little bit by only keeping the columns we need. These are passenger class, sex, age, fare, siblings and spouses on board, parents and children on board, and port that they embarked on. We're also creating a new column called survived, which will hold the model's prediction for if that person survived. For the empty spaces in age and fare, we're filling it with the column's respective median, and for the empty spaces in embarked, we're filling it with the column's mode. This is the column's most common value. Here's where we use the pandas library feature getDummies to one-hot encode the categorical columns, essentially turning text into numbers without implying any order. X is the feature dataset with all the columns, and Y is the target variable survived, with 0 for no and 1 for yes. Here we train test split our data. The train data tells our model what to do, and the test data tells us how well our model did it. We're performing this for the X feature set and the Y target variable, and we're setting the test size to 20% of the total data. Stratify balances classes, and random state ensures reproducibility. Now we actually train the model on a random forest classifier. We're training 300 trees, again ensuring reproducibility, and we're fitting this for our train data. Now we check the model on the test set. Pred gives yes or no guesses for accuracy, and proba gives survival percentages for ROC AUC, which shows how well we separate survivors from non-survivors, and the higher the better. Now we're building a function that takes all of the columns as input, formats them like training data, and uses the model we just trained to predict a survival percentage. At the very end here, we've got a test suite to predict the survival percentages of 2 people who could have been on board the Titanic. The first is a person in first class who is female, 25 years old, and paid $80. The second is a male in third class, 22 years old, and he paid $7.25. Let's see what the model says. Firstly, we get our beautiful graph that shows us that the most important features in predicting survival were fare and age by far. It looks like the survival rate for the woman was 93% and 67% for the man, and we had an accuracy of 82% and an AOC-ROC of 83%.